Hey everybody, Thrifty Teresa here. Thank you for tuning in again to another Etsy seller interview. This is number 4 now. I'm so excited to have this guest on. She's certainly at the top of my list for Etsy sellers that I wanted to talk to. I feel like I know her. You guys probably feel like you know her because she makes a ton of videos. I was just teasing her before we started recording that I think this is maybe her 4th done today. She's a very busy woman, and she's a fantastic help in this reseller community and a huge champion of Etsy. So I want to thank Margaret from TexasGalTreasures. Thanks for joining me, Margaret. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, yeah, it's me, Margaret, from TexasGalTreasures. And I buy things at yard sales and estate sales, garage sales, thrift stores, and I sell them on eBay, Etsy, Amazon, and I have an antique booth. So, but I love selling on Etsy a lot. Mm-hmm. And I have done a lot of shows
Very
today.
busy lady. Yeah. But they've all been fantastic. I've been loving them. So hopefully people will like this one too. So how long have you had your Etsy shop? When did you start selling on Etsy?
It's been about 3 years, maybe just a little over 3 years. Yeah. So I started that, my grandmother passed away, and I slowly started selling a few things. This is before I stopped working. And then I'm just jumping right in.
Please do.
Oh, okay. My husband got a new job, and I had the opportunity to start staying home with the kids. And so, you know, just when you're home with the kids, you need some away time. So on the weekends, on Saturday, he said, why don't you, go out, just get some coffee, go to garage sale, do something. So I went out and was at garage sales, and I started finding things that, like, I don't really want this, but it's really cool, and somebody's going to want this. And I'd kind of started selling a few of my grandmother's things, just testing the waters, I guess. And so I just kind of went with it. Yeah.
And do you recall how you found Etsy as a selling platform? Because I think a lot of people, when they think of Etsy, they still today, even though Etsy's been around for a long time now, almost 10 years, I believe it's almost 10 years, they still think of it as a handmade community. How did you stumble across Etsy?
I actually I created a store a long time ago. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was now. I can't even remember the name of it, but it was little knitted things, little things I had made, and I think maybe I sold one thing ever, because I didn't know anything about marketing it or anything. And so I had kind of tried it out then, and then nothing ever, gosh, I wish I could remember the name of that store. I probably still have it, honestly, it's probably just sitting over there under a different email address. So, and then that I didn't go anywhere with that, but I knew that people sold vintage items as well. So that's how I got into that.
All right, that's basically how I found it too, was I started selling handmade items and did that for a while. And then, just recently I started doing the vintage stuff, and I love it so much more than selling handmade. I don't have all the custom orders and stuff that I used to, and stressing about deadlines and stuff, because it's either I got it or I don't.
Yeah,
I just had an email from somebody this afternoon saying that I've got these embroidered patches, and they have dogs on them, different dog breeds. So she emailed me saying, do you have this dog breed? And I said, no, I don't make these. These are vintage. I only have what I have.
Yeah.
So,
but I was going to say the rosary, because you made rosaries and stuff, and they were really pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
still love them.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I still love them. I just don't have the desire to make them anymore. I collect them. I collect antique rosaries for myself as a personal, something that I enjoy, something pretty, shiny objects, why not? But as far as making them goes, sometimes I make some and give them to my local church who does educational classes and stuff like that. So I like to give the gifts to the students. But as far as selling them goes, it's not where my passion is anymore.
I used to have one that was, it was so pretty. It was mother of pearl. The beads were like these mother of pearl beads, and then my purse got stolen, and it was in my purse. And it just
Oh
broke my heart.
no.
Of all the things in my purse, that's the one thing that I'm just like, oh, it's gone forever. So sorry, I just took off topic. But
Oh no,
yeah.
that's a shame. That always breaks my heart when I hear somebody with a story like that, because one of the things that I used to get a lot of requests for when I was actively selling in my rosary shop was people asking me if I could repair their rosaries. And
Oh,
sometimes I could, and sometimes I couldn't, because I couldn't go out of my way to find the stuff to match them. And again, with the custom order situation, it puts you in the position of wanting to be a people pleaser and help people.
yeah.
And with something like that that's so precious and sentimental, but at the same time, you can't put that kind of pressure on yourself when you're trying to make a business, because I certainly wasn't making money with it. It was a hobby, and it was fun, but it wasn't getting me anywhere.
Right. Yeah. And and I never replaced it. I kept thinking, well, I'll see another one that I like as much. I'll see another one and I never have. I never just been like wowed and just had to have another one. So.
Oh, that's sweet. So now, I want to get back to the vintage stuff here. So you mentioned that you sell on other platforms as well. What percentage of your reselling business would you say is from Etsy?
Well, I have a little less than half of, everything pretty much is listed. There's a little bit more on eBay because there are some newer items that I can't put on Etsy. And, sometimes my sales on Etsy are more than eBay, and, sometimes it flip-flops, but I think hopefully I'm going in the right direction with the answer. So I just,
Absolutely.
yeah. I hate to say it though, but the last few weeks, eBay is really, doing really well. But then around the holiday time, my sales on Etsy were through the roof. They were really going, I guess people were going there for unique presents or something maybe. Yeah.
Now you do something that I don't do. I don't care for selling on eBay. eBay gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't really care for it. I buy a ton of stuff on eBay, but I don't enjoy selling on eBay. But you use eBay and Etsy hand in hand, where you cross-post your items. Do you do that for all of your Etsy items? Are all of your Etsy items cross-posted onto eBay?
Pretty much. There might be a few things that are smaller, that I just felt like it wouldn't be worth the fees on both platforms, that kind of thing. Yeah.
That is something to take into consideration, is the double down of the fees. And eBay does have higher fees, and then their listing fees are higher, but their final value fees are also higher. And then you have the aspect of your listing fee on Etsy gives you 4 months of activity, whereas eBay, you have to re-up that every month unless you're under a certain number, so you just get the free listings, things like that.
Right. Yeah.
Now, when you do that, when you have the items cross-posted, do you always have the same price, or do your prices change depending on the platform that you're selling on?
Usually it's the same price, but sometimes I have to kind of tweak it a bit because I run sales on my eBay store. And so sometimes my eBay prices may look higher if the sale isn't going on. Usually I try to keep the sale ongoing, whether it's 15, 20, 25%. I kind of vary it up a little bit. But if you were to hit it on a day when the sale was not going on, it would look like I just yanked my prices up. So I don't know. I've only ever had maybe 1 or 2 people find the item on both platforms and say, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then I'll tell them, well, this is why, and I'm happy to give you the lower price. So please buy it on Etsy because the fees are lower.
That's true. That is very true. All right, cool. Because that's something that I don't employ, and every once in a while I think about it. I guess it comes down for me that doing the double work, it makes me wonder if I'm giving my all to Etsy, which
Right.
is my passion. So I'm afraid that if I start listing everything on eBay. Are they going to sell on eBay? And then my Etsy store is going to start tanking, or vice versa. That's an interesting balance. But I guess since you, for the most part, list everything on both places, it does double the exposure.
Right.
And like you said, some weeks are better on eBay, some weeks are better on Etsy.
Yeah, I found that to be true. And it did take time at first when I decided to take the plunge and do it, to front load that. I had to really take the time to copy my listing because it's all manual. I didn't find a program to do it. I mean, now it's easy. Like I create the listing generally in Etsy first because they require more, I can get all the tags in there and get the description just the way I want it. And then I just copy and paste it because the eBay title is much shorter. So I could take my big, long Etsy title, put it over in eBay, and then just kind of tweak it down. It's easier than taking the short title over to Etsy and trying to fill it out. You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely. That does make a lot more sense. Etsy has a lot more little boxes you need to tick.
Yeah.
So it does sound like a better process the way you're describing it. That makes a lot of sense. So now, do you have any help with your reselling business? Do your friends or family help you with your sourcing or your shipping?
No, not at all. Every now and then I'll have a friend go outsourcing with me, but not for this generally. So, no, just me.
A one gal operation.
Yeah, and
I know you do. I know you do take your kids with you to the thrift stores sometimes. You have the little ride-along videos, and they're finding things that they want.
Yes, that's the problem.
Trying to find things that you can sell.
Yeah, and that's hard too because I bring it home and then they, I left the bags on the floor and the school got out and they came home and there it is, too late. Oh, what's this, mommy? What's this, mommy? So, oh well.
How old are they now?
One is 5 and one is 8. My other one is about to be 6, so they're about 2 years apart.
Maybe in a couple more years they'll be a little more helpful.
Yeah,
you can put them to work. I'm not quite sure what the child labor laws are in Texas, but maybe you can put them to work to your advantage. So tell us about the types of items that you like to sell on Etsy. What sort of bread and butter items do you have in your shop?
I like getting, well, gosh, lately it's been kind of everything, but I really like men's accessories, cufflinks, tie tacks, tie bars, and I have a big stash of them that I need to list, so maybe next week. And then just all kinds of collectibles. I mean, I have lots of my grandmother's things that I sell, hat pin holders, sugar shakers, things that Chris calls trinkets, I've got lots of trinkets in my shop, mugs and figurines and just anything that I think is cool. I don't know. He was asking me like, how am I picking these things out? I'm like, well, I see it and I like it and I think somebody else will like it. That kind of, or it's a good brand that I know.
Well, that's also part of thrill of the hunt, is you never know what you're going to find. And the fact that you keep your store with a variety of items rather than focusing on one type of thing, like I only sell jewelry and accessories, or I only sell sewing patterns or something like that. Having that variety gives you, the opportunity to make a very fun, eclectic, exciting kind of store. So that's definitely the kinds of stores that I respond to, because it's not only the thrill of you finding these cool things you think other people will like, but I can browse through your store and absolutely find something that I will like, because it's the thrill of the hunt for me just looking at your shop. Right.
Yeah. And sometimes I look through my store and I'm like, what is that? I mean, what was I doing? Why is that even in here? Every now and then I try to put myself in the customer's, perspective, or somebody like looking at the shop going, what is that in here? So, I don't know.
Hey, you never know what you're going to get, so that's perfectly fine. So did you have any items that you wanted to show us today? Something interesting from your store?
So one thing, these are some figurines that I picked up at a garage sale, and I sold one already. But they're Beatrix Potter, This is Mrs. Tittlemouse, and they are Beswick figurines. I picked them up for $2 at a garage sale. There's her, and oh, we're about to be interrupted. Hang on 1 second. Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
Little one. Sorry, Michael. I need you to go
That's all
and
right.
lay in your bed, please. And then this one is, Mr. Jeremy Fisher. And that's another Beswick. And then one that I sold this past week was Foxy Mr. Gentleman, and he was the little walking fox. I think he's from Jemima Puddle Duck is what I think he's from. Hang on. There's a scuffle.
Those are super cute. I think Planet Alyssa also recently came across a good lot of Beatrix Potter figurines. I'm not quite sure if they were the same brand or maker that you had, but Beatrix Potter is definitely one of those things that I always try to keep a lookout for, because she's, they're hundreds of years old, these stories now. They're still very popular with modern children, modern adults reading to their modern children just as much as they were back when they originally came out. So that's one of those types of things that would definitely be a bread and butter thing for pretty much anybody, is if you find something in good quality condition, Beatrix Potter collectible items. Right. I think that's a no-brainer, something to pick up.
Yeah, and I think that's true with any kind of literary type characters. Like I sold these 2 tiles, and one was like from a Rudyard Kipling story, and the other, I can't remember what the other story was. But like those type of things. Like my mom collects Alice in Wonderland, so I mean, I think just anything that's from a story, because people. I mean, my grandmother, when she was alive, she loved Dickens, so she collected figurines from Dickens stories and plaques and pictures and, people like Edgar Allan Poe. So I think anytime you find something that's tied to some sort of author or literary, character, book, whatnot, I think it's always a good pickup.
Absolutely. And also the childhood nostalgia factor. One of the things that I see in a lot of your haul videos are the little golden books. Mm-hmm. Those are things that have been around for years, and everybody, remembers those from growing up if they're around our age. Right. And now people around our age have little ones that want to read and experience these gorgeous books. So those are great items to pick up as well.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons I enjoy picking up children's picture books a lot, especially vintage ones, because even if it's still in print, sometimes it's got that different cover. You like, oh no, it's illustrated by a different author, and I want that same one from when I was growing up. I want that same cover, So it may be a longer wait for that buyer, but I always enjoy picking them up. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm testing the waters of the children's books myself. I just picked some up not too long ago, and flipping through the pages and the way they smell, the old book smell and everything. I don't know if that's a selling point or not, but I know it's a selling point for me when I'm buying them at the store. It's like, oh, this is so pretty. The pictures are so beautiful. Oh, it smells like dust. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just. Yeah, there's something about it, and they do take, some of them do take time to sell, but I think you saw that one, I don't have it with me, but it was that Squiffy the skunk. Yes. I don't care if that thing never sells. It's so adorable. It's like these live pictures of animals, and they're dressed up in little clothes, and oh my gosh, and this little skunk in a dress. It's adorable.
It definitely was the highlight of one of your last haul videos was that book. It was so cute. So what else do you have for us? Anything else you want to show and tell?
I do. Okay, this mug was a big surprise for me. It looks like so this is the mug. It says, happiness is a cup of coffee and a really good book. And then on the back it says, and a piece of cake. And then on the inside it says, happiness comes in a mug. And then it's happiness along the side. And so this is by the brand Toast and Marmalade. And the designer, I guess, is Emmett Bridgewater. And it turns out that this is a very desirable mug. I don't know if it's because of the brand or because of the designer on it. But I picked it up. I can't even remember what I picked it up for. I'll have to go back and look, but not a lot. And when I started researching it, I was just in shock, really, because there were two sold. One was this mug and another mug, and they sold for $90. And then another one was this mug by itself, and it sold for over $50 by itself. And then
Holy cow.
I couldn't find any more. I was like, what on earth? So I listed it this week, and I put $76 on it. And I already had somebody send me a message about it, you know, asking me, you know, what is this little, there's like a little teensy blue mark, and, you know, is this rim, can that be cleaned anymore? I mean, like what is going on with this mug?
Wow. So that sounds like a collector. This person wants it in pristine condition.
Yeah. So this, toast and marmalade, if you're out there, that's what to look for. So yeah, that's that. I'm very carefully putting it back over here.
Yes, be careful. That's gorgeous. And so fun, the design on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you know that was vintage when you picked it up? Are you familiar with that brand?
Not at all. I just loved, loved the words, and I loved, happiness is a good book and a cup of coffee, because it's like, oh, that sounds like me, and a piece of cake, so.
Yeah, cake.
So yeah, I liked the way it looked, and the design, and the words, and who knew? And it's probably been sitting in my room for a couple months until we had a listing challenge last week for mugs. And so I was like, okay, mug time. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. You have a Facebook group that you participate in, International League of Thrifters.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll try to find that, and I haven't joined that group yet. I think I'd really like to. You've been talking a lot on your YouTube channel about the different challenges that you guys have been having, and I think that's a fantastic way to encourage people to get out there and get busy and get listing. Tell us a little bit about that group and what they do.
So we have, it's a group that there are 4 of us moderators. I guess moderators, admins, I don't know what you call us. And basically we have a challenge every week, and sometimes we'll have something every day, like Money Monday or Thrifty Thursday. We'll have something each day, but then we'll have a theme for the week where, we'll sit back and we'll say, what do we have that we really need to list? Basically, that's how we come up with the what are we going to challenge ourselves with this week? So one week it was plush. Oh my gosh, we have so much plush. So we put the plush challenge out there. And so all week, we had this going thread, and we were trying to find info, like what to look for and what sells and how to, so it's not just about chat, like how many did you sell? How many did you take pictures of? It's trying to bring a little extra education. Like if you don't do plush, you're kind of interested, here's some extra. And then one week it was mugs. And so I actually did a couple videos about how I ship mugs and my whole process from, how I take the pictures to how I list them and everything. And this week it's snapback hats. So just, so if they're out, if you're out there, you've got these little extra bits of information in the back of your head. So when you're out at the thrift store or garage sales, and you'll think, oh yeah, I remember somebody talking about this particular thing. I just think it gives a good direction. It gives good direction for me. And the group for sure, there's a lot more newer sellers, I would say, in the group, which I have no problem with. I know sometimes more veteran type sellers get, not frustrated, but they hear the same questions all the time, and so I mean sometimes everybody starts somewhere, right? That's how I feel. Like it's fine. Let's just let them ask it, and we'll guide them, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's great. I mean, that is one of the reasons that people join these, Facebook communities, why they watch the YouTube videos, is to educate themselves. And of course, they're going to have questions. And, I think we all encourage people to ask us questions, and we'll help if we can,
Right.
because we were all there. We were all new. I'm still new. I've only been doing this reselling stuff, a year now, or well, it's almost a year and a half. But I'm still a novice. I still only do this part-time. Now, I know you don't have a full-time job. You are a full-time mom. would you also consider yourself a full-time reseller, or do you consider yourself part-time?
I consider myself part-time, yeah, because I spend, you know, quite a bit of time with my mom and with the kids, and then usually when they're home, it's, you know, business off, unless they, you know, once they've gone to bed, and then the weekends, you know, it's mostly spending time with the family. So yeah, part-time.
Well, you certainly get a lot done in that time with the, you know, the sourcing and the photographing and the listing and the videos and the Facebook groups. And I don't know how you have a life outside of this.
I don't.
I know you like to go to, was it book groups or at
Book
least
clubs.
Wine groups or something like that?
I do. I'm in
What
3
sort of
book
hobbies
clubs.
do you
Yeah.
have outside of selling?
I'm in a book club at one of the local libraries. I'm in a neighborhood girls book club, and then I'm in another one that's, you know, a smaller. There's like 4 or 5 of us that meet. And I actually haven't gone in a couple months just because I haven't scheduled them. I mean, the library one is ongoing every month, but the other two, it's usually me saying, "Okay, girls, let's get this thing together," you know, because I need to get out of the house. So, yeah.
Well, it's good. It's good for you to motivate these people so that you can have some adult time and you can, you know, decompress and think about something else other than, you know, your day-to-day stuff. So
Right, yeah.
it's good to have hobbies.
I think it was just
Besides your
No, go ahead.
besides your book groups and such, do you have other hobbies outside of reselling?
Oh boy. I like to sew, but I haven't been doing very much of that. I like to write, but goodness knows I haven't been doing much of that. So I mean, I read a lot. I garden, but yeah, most of the other hobbies that I've got don't they're kind of on the back burner a bit. I mean, I almost want to say making YouTube videos is sort of a hobby now, because that's something that doesn't really, you know, bring a lot as far as income wise, like the listing and things do. I know people think that people on YouTube make tons of money or something, but
No,
like,
no, we don't.
no, it's more just like it's a creative outlet for me, you know. So yeah.
Perfect. So, do you have any goals for your Etsy shop? Certain items of sales per week, certain dollar amounts. Do you hold yourself up to a certain standard?
Well, I try. I like to get. Last year it was about $200 a week. Now I'm aiming for $250 a week. And most weeks that I've already, you know, I've been doing much more than that, which has been great, because we're actually planning a trip out to the West Coast for part of the summer. So I'm excited about that. We're trying to save up money to go. Yeah.
That's perfect. Now, on average, and on an average week, what would you say your sales would be? You don't have to tell me dollar amounts, but although you just did, on average, how many orders do you get each week? Is what I'm trying to say.
In the last few weeks, oh boy, I would say between 10 and 20, somewhere in that range, I guess. That's a large range. But yeah, so I mean, it's not a ton compared to some people for sure, but it's enough to keep me busy.
Oh, of course. And enough to keep adding to that savings account so that you
Right.
can afford your vacations and such, which
Mhm.
is primarily what I'm doing reselling for. You know, I do have a full-time job, but this pays my bills, this pays my fun money. Me and my dad are going on a cruise next month, and that was almost 100% paid by my last year of saving from selling. So
Yeah.
very excited about that. There's you know, there's money to be made out there if people aren't doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really rewarding when you have, you know, when you feel like, okay, I've done this. This happened because, like last year, it was all about I wanted to earn enough money to pay for my kids' after school programs and summer, like if they go to summer camp. That was my big goal. And it felt so, you know, as a stay-at-home mom, then you're not bringing in a lot of income it felt like I was really making a contribution. So
Absolutely. And those things are not cheap. I don't have kids, but I know people
right.
who do. And man, when I heard how expensive some of those sports programs and stuff are, even at like a local community center, not necessarily affiliated with your elementary school or your junior high, astronomical prices.
Yeah.
So being able to make that money and do something fun for them, keep them busy, keep them healthy, keep them out of your hair when you're trying to do other things. You know, there's all sorts of rewards for that. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
fantastic you're able to do that.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to do quite as many this summer because we're planning the trip, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. I don't know.
Where are you going to go on the West Coast? I'm on the West Coast.
I know. So we are planning on flying into Spokane because my aunt is in Spokane. And then from there, we're going to stay there a couple days and then drive to Portland. My husband's brother's in Portland, and then stay there a few days and then take 2 days to drive down to Northern California to see my husband's parents, and the rest of his aunts and cousins and everybody are there. So
Are you going to try to work in a little thrift shopping while you are taking
I'm
your little
sure.
road trip?
I'm sure I will. Yes, of course, because you want to see what's different in the different areas, you know. I mean, my husband and I, a couple years ago, we went to New Orleans for our 10th anniversary, and you know, we hit some estate sales while we were there. Like, we were in New Orleans, and we can find some cool stuff, you know. Yeah.
I can only imagine. I don't think we're going to find anything on the cruise ship itself.
Yeah.
Maybe try to rummage through the lost and found, but I know that I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for anything that's not a tourist trap when we are at our different ports. I want to see if I can find any like hidden gems in these cute little towns that we're going to be visiting. Maybe come
Yeah.
home with some treasures to sell.
That would be awesome. That would be really cool. So where are you cruising to?
We're going to Alaska.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, so it's a nice, easy trip because it leaves from Seattle and returns to Seattle. And I'm only, you know, maybe 5 miles away from the cruise port, so it's real simple. This is going to be my second cruise, and it's going to be my dad's first. So he's super, super excited. We're going to have a lot of fun together.
Yeah, I mean, we have a cruise port down here, but you know, it goes down like Caribbean and stuff like that. But I'd rather go to Alaska, you know?
I would just rather go anywhere. I'm just excited to get out of the house. That's pretty much all there is to it. I'll go anywhere. But yeah, this is going to be good. So let's see. I had another question here. Oh, okay. Do you have any special tools or apps or anything that you use to help you sell? And this can be non-Etsy stuff if you want to talk about any other selling platforms or anything that you use.
I use, I use the Garage Sailor app to find garage sales. I use, when I do my sales videos, there's two, there's an Etsy sales final calculator, I can't think what it's called. I use that one. But other than that, not a whole lot that I can think of. I mean, I have a Amazon seller app for when I'm looking for things. I don't go outsourcing specifically for Amazon FBA, but if I'm out and I find something that's sealed, I'll scan it, that kind of thing. But other than that, not really, no.
So there's a whole bunch of different garage sale apps. What exactly is the name of the one that you use? Do you
The one
recall?
I like is called G Sailor.
G Sailor. Okay, perfect. That's it's that time of year for us up north that garage sales are just sort of starting. So that's a great point, is you can use these apps, and they usually come on most cell phones. You can get them now. And you can plan a little route for yourself. So you can take a whole day, take an afternoon, or just go to the ones that are close by, because it's all based on GPS maps and Google
Right.
Maps, and you can go sourcing and hitting that good stuff. So you
Yeah.
have the luxury of having garage sales for most of the year thanks to your weather, right?
This is true. Yeah, we might have a few months where it's spotty, but it's back in full swing. We're getting a lot of church garage sales going, and there's actually one this Friday. I'm really excited because we're going camping this weekend, so I won't be able to go out garage sailing on Saturday. But this church garage sale is happening Friday and Saturday, so I can go Friday morning.
Tell us about your garage sale lady that you talk about in some of your haul videos. That she does estate sales or something.
She's a home organizer. So let's say you're a crazy hoarder or you've just up to your eyeballs with too much stuff. She comes in.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
And she helps you like clean out, organize, destash, get your whole house organized and figure out, are you in love with this? Or are you getting rid of it? And separating piles probably like you would see on the TV. And then the things that the people don't want, she takes. And those things she has garage sales with. So she has, I'm on her list of, frequent flyers. So she texts me and others, hey, we're having the garage sale this Friday and Saturday. So
I always found that really interesting. Last year sometime, I was actually trying to help my dad clear out some of his hoarding situation at home. And we talked to two different estate sale people, and they told me a lot like what you were just saying, is that these people, they take the stuff, and if they aren't doing like a formal estate sale in the customer's or the client's home, maybe the client doesn't have room to stage an entire sale or something, that they will take them home or take them to a warehouse or wherever they have their business set up and basically have like a garage sale there. So that is something that other people can look for in their area, not just your regular everyday garage sales, is look up some of these estate liquidators, or in this case, your lady is a personal assistant, house cleaner, whatever you called it, organizer. That's organizer. I don't have that word in my vocabulary. Organization is like at the bottom of my list. If you could see my little area over here on the side of my bedroom that is just filled like to the ceiling with miscellaneous stuff, you would know that organization is not something I'm familiar with. But other people are, and you can benefit from that. So, do you have any idea, that lady, if she, if all of that money from her sales go to her as like part of her payment, I'm going to take your stuff, but then the money comes to me, or does she actually sell the stuff on behalf of the client?
I think she gets it, because she said something to me like, this is a little side business for me, and so I wasn't sure if she was talking about, because I think she has a full-time job and she's an organizer. So I'm not sure when she said, this is a side business for me, if she was talking about getting to sell the stuff for the garage sales or the home organizing stuff. All I know is that she sells it to me at amazing prices, and because she's not, she doesn't have any sort of emotional attachment to any of this stuff. She's trying to get it, moved out, and she knows that I'll come and buy lots of stuff and spend I probably spent $80 with her one weekend, but I got so much amazing stuff.
Well, that's fantastic. That's a relationship that you've made with somebody who can, help you. She knows that you're a good customer. You know that she always has quality items, and you know that she's going to give you a good deal. And the fact that she does these on a regular basis and has you on speed dial or on an email list or something, that's a fantastic relationship to have. So kudos to you for that. And it's a great idea for other people, that if you have people in your area that do frequent garage sales or yard sales or whatnot, make friends with them. Don't just be a customer. Maybe say hi and talk to them, and you might learn that this is somebody that you could come back to in the future.
Right. Yeah. I do get there early though. I mean, even though she'll say starts at 7, I get there like 6:30, 6:45, because she sends that message to, like, there's a few other people, And one time I went like closer to 7, and she was like, "Oh yeah, this saddle already sold, and this already." I mean, like, what? Like, that's it. I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna be the early bird every time. So
That's
Tanya and
fantastic.
I went the last time she had it, and it was still dark out, so we had our phones out with our flashlights on our phone, shining it on all her tables, because it was like daylight savings time had switched or something, or it was about to switch. I don't know. Yeah.
It's too funny. You're like peering in the dark, seeing what you could find.
Oh,
There's that thrill of the hunt again. You never know what you're going to find in the dark, cavernous, garage of somebody's house.
that's right.
Cool. So besides selling on Etsy, do you also buy on Etsy? Do you collect anything, or do you buy gifts for other people?
I do some. I mean, we didn't buy me a wedding, quote, wedding ring until our 10-year anniversary. I had like a CZ sterling, in sterling silver, because we just couldn't see spending the money, And so at our 10-year, we decided, okay, let's look. And so I bought a ring from an Etsy seller. She was in England, and she goes to estate sales and picks up, estate jewelry. And this was I don't even have it on right now to show you, but it's like an Art Deco style. I can go get it. It's right over there. It's real simple, and it's got sapphires and little, I'm going to go get it. Can I go get it? It's just
Okay.
right, I'll show you.
Sure. As everybody knows, I love to sell things on Etsy. I'm going to be doing a Etsy purchases video again soon. I recently bought 3 things on Etsy, and I always like to tell you about my experience as a buyer. Having buying experience on the platform you're selling on can sometimes be educational.
There you go. Sorry, what?
No problem. I was just talking about how much I enjoy buying on Etsy, so I love to see what other people buy on Etsy.
Okay, so here it is. It's just got a teensy little diamond, and then like these little blue sapphires along the side. So it's not like a big blingy ring, but it was, for me, I felt like it fit my style, Anyway.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
So she said she got it at an estate sale in France, and she, I guess, goes to different jewelry type estate sales. And it was a good, we didn't want to spend a ton of money because I don't know. This was my husband said this is how much money we could spend for a wedding ring, and I probably spent a third of what he said was okay, so I can't spend that much money.
But you found something beautiful, you found something unique.
Yeah.
You've probably never seen one like it again, so it's yours. It was meant for you.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. And so I have a few, friends in the UK that they say, oh, well, Etsy hasn't taken off over here. Etsy hasn't taken off over here. I was like, well, I sure am buying, from over there. So I said, there's a market, for people that are going to buy in the US things that they can't find here. I think they're just really, I don't know if you watch, there's a friend of mine, his name is Ken Chapman. I don't know if you watch him, but he's a UK reseller, and he goes to auctions and he finds the most amazing things. And he's not on Etsy, but he does great on eBay, so I guess he's happy. But I think, he would do well. His stuff is just amazing. He's got an eye. Two of them.
Excellent.
An eye for treasure.
Well, tell our viewers, if they're not already familiar with you, and if they're not already familiar with you, they need to figure out what they're doing with their life, because clearly they need to know you. Where can they find you? Tell us about your YouTube. Do you have a Facebook page and that group you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, so I am TexasGalTreasures on YouTube. I have a TexasGalTreasures Facebook page. I also started at my website, TexasGalTreasures.com, where it's more like a blog style. I share a lot of my videos, but then I'll also share, just random other things as well. It's kind of new, so I'm still trying to flesh it out, but I try to put things in there for people who are just there as well. So if you don't go see it, you'll miss stuff, you know, that kind of thing.
Good. Do
And
you
then
use Instagram or anything like that?
I have, but I haven't figured it out yet. You know, I haven't figured out exactly. I've tried it, I toy with it, and then I don't know, I put it down. Same thing with Periscope. I'm on Periscope, and I'm not really great about doing it, but I try to get at least a couple in a week. So I have some friends that are, well, Angie's on there all the time, you know. I have some friends who are
Yeah.
Jesse's up off. I see Jesse pop up like 3 or 4 times a day, you know.
That's great. Well, you know, it's all about, you know, getting the word out there and interacting with your community, your buyers and your sellers, and learning from each other, which is one of the reasons I wanted to start this little interview series. And I'm super, super glad that you were able to make the time to talk to me today. Like I said in the beginning, it's like I feel like I know you. You share so much about your life besides just reselling, you know, you give so much to everybody that it's just wonderful knowing you, and I'm so glad to talk to you today.
Thanks. Well, you know, you were one of the first YouTubers I started watching, you know, so that's my hats off to you. But I
You know,
started.
I was thinking about that earlier today. I remember you sent me a message. I can't remember if it was on Etsy or Facebook. You sent me a message asking how I got a lot of subscribers on YouTube. And I'm like, I don't know. I just make the stupid videos and people watch. And I think at the time you had around like 500 subscribers. And to me, that's phenomenal. And you've got over 4,000 now.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to be really proud of yourself for that. You know, you put in so much effort. I was joking earlier that this is like the 4th video that Margaret has done today. She records live shows. She has chats with people. I'm recording this in advance. This is going to come out in a few days. But the fact that she makes the time for us, for the reselling community, to help and educate people is just, it's amazing.
I
So
love it.
you're wonderful, and I wish you all the success in the world.
Thanks. I in one of my last videos I said something about it being like soul food for me, you know. It's really is an outlet. I feel like my, you know, creative outlet is being fulfilled. My, you know, I'm a teacher at heart. My teacher outlet is being fulfilled. It just fulfills so much for me to get to do this, and I appreciate people watching. So, and thanks for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
Great. Well, thanks very much, Margaret. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm going to try to link to everything that I can for Margaret down below so that you can connect with her if you haven't already. She's fantastic. And yeah, so thanks again. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.